I graduated from college and from business school, I really did not expect to have to defend capitalism at any point in my career, to be honest. I graduated from college right at the end of the Cold War. And I think that there's a stark understanding that other systems have grave problems. And frankly, in my opinion, I think certainly the most extreme versions of those, which would be more moving towards communism, really fundamentally go against human nature. But so I, to sit here today and to realize that the young generation today don't have the same appreciation for what capitalism has to bring. But I think that there's reasons for that. I think that the concept of capitalism, to me, is the best model to maximize the human potential. But the execution of capitalism needs to give the opportunities to everyone in order to be able to do that. And so I think why there have been so many challenges to capitalism in I would say, particularly in the last 20 years, has been really the execution of capitalism has created, in some respects, a two-tiered system and has not afforded the opportunities to everyone. So one of the things that we really focus on is really part of our purpose at Nasdaq is to promote the construct of inclusive capitalism. So if you think about capitalism, the whole idea of it is to essentially put money behind those who have the best ideas and to give them the opportunity to demonstrate those ideas, put them into motion, create a business, hire people, grow the business, and therefore contribute positively to the economy. And it is all a matter of really maximizing that opportunity, but not as a right. It's in a way, you have to demonstrate all the hard work in order to get it done. But the fact is that if you have access to the opportunity, you have the opportunity to succeed. I think that the challenge that we face in this country is not everyone has access to the opportunity. It's just not evenly distributed. And it really starts with early education. We have fundamental challenges in our society in giving people access to early education that puts them on the right footing to be able to have that opportunity as they grow and expand their educational experience. So that's the first area of challenge. I think the second then is, frankly, as we know, we still have systemic issues with racial injustice and inequality. And so the network effect of capitalism also creates challenges. You have to kind of know where to go to get that capital. If there aren't banks in your community, then how are you supposed to try to get a loan? If there aren't investors who are coming in and making themselves available, then how are you supposed to be able to know how to get that access to that capital? And then, of course, those who have done well then are able to provide that capital to others who are seeking opportunity, but they would probably operate within their network. So I think that we have to be much more purposeful as a country in finding ways systemically to improve early education and make it more balanced across the country. Then also putting more banks across, in smaller communities and giving incentives for banks to set up in smaller communities. And then at the same time, also widening our networks and being much more deliberate in widening the networks available to everyone who has a good idea to be able to get access to early capital. So those are, I think, some fundamental systematic things that this country needs to focus on. Of course, then on the market side, our job is really fundamentally to minimize friction to maximize investor access. So we basically create very, very fast and efficient markets. We make sure that everyone has an opportunity to participate in those markets. Obviously, the online retail brokerage community and all the brokerages really have made it much cheaper and much more accessible to access those markets as an investor, so that as companies enter the public markets, they have access to millions and millions of people who are ready to put their hard-earned savings to work to help those companies grow. And so our job as a market is to maximize that access to companies and to investors. I think we do a good job, but there's still more work that we need to do from a government policy perspective and from making it so that we foster that broader community of access to capital. So lots of interesting opportunities, lots of ways to improve our system. But I would also really caution that it's not to throw out the system, it's to improve it, because I do still think the construct of capitalism is foundational to the success of this country and frankly, to the global economy today.